Shalom, with the Hebrew Israelite from Toronto, GMS. I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai. His son, double honors to the men of Great Millstone. Salute to the brothers, the Achiums, pushing the word in sincere and in truth. And to the brothers and to the sisters who are listening to GMS on the four corners of the earth. I want to say shalom. I want to do a little lesson on Thanksgiving. So just to start a little lesson here, because I came across a video of Gad mourning, but just to get down a little bit down into who Gad is. Gad is one of the tribes of one of the brothers of Israel, one of the tribes, right? Which is Gad. So it says, Genesis chapter 30, verse 11 says, and Leah said, a troop cometh, and she shall call his name Gad. So Gad is a troop, right? We all know that the Native American Indians are known as Gad, according to the Bible. When you jump down to that verse 49, it says, and Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. That's happening now. Like, that's going to be happening in the end times when Gad is waking up and there's no more wicked devices to happen onto Gad. He's woken up from that curse, right? So I want to get into talking about the celebration of Thanksgiving. These guys are celebrating Thanksgiving, not knowing that Thanksgiving was performed from the Edomites, from the wicked who plundered Gad's land with their wicked invention and devices, right? In that time of 1492, so when Christopher Columbus came over, but after that, there has been like atrocities going on in North America, South America, on the land of Gad, right? And not only him, but also the Israelites. But we're just gonna stick to the point. They have Gad being destroyed. So the white man's actually giving thanks and praises for him actually taking the land of Gad, and they're praying unto the devil, you know. So I want to play a video, but I don't got it on the computer. It was on my phone, so I'm gonna see if I can search for the video in the meantime. Let's see if I can find that video. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, man. So, it's just wickedness that the white man has been doing from then onwards and creating more evil. Okay, let me bring up that video. Got a video on what I was watching that I came across. And I was like, yo, I gotta play this video. Hold on. Where is that video? Hold on. Try to get this video quick. Okay. This was the same video I was watching. Let's see if this was it. No, this is not it. Okay, I found the video. Hold on. That's not it there. This video.
What is story you talk about was the Native American being 10 million at one point, now to 1 million.
When the European invasion came here in the late 1490s, there were 112 million of them in this Republic of the United States. It's not a country, it's a republic. And in less than 500 years, through genocidal practices.
So I want to give, talk about, yeah, he said less than 500 years. So basically in that time, we were, before we got over here, the Gadites were over here way before us, before we got here, like, you know, a good little while they were here practicing their statues onto the Most High. So I have a book. I got a couple books here. I got this book called The Great Chiefs, and it's just getting into the men of Gad and their warriors and how they lived on the land. But I want to bring out the book of hold on, the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. It was around these times. It says, "Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, who Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land." It says, "But they took his counsel among themselves that they would have the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country whither never mankind dwelt." That was what God had thought to do, that they might there keep their statues which they never kept in their own land, and that's the reason why we were taken out. "And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over." So yeah, so the Most High worked great miracles for the Israel, for Gad to pass through that passage, right? That water, that great water that washed away some people, you know, washed away some people when they're trying to like probably come through and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, nobody could go through the water. The Most High hold up the water for them to go through. You know, it's probably like it was like serious, like rowdy. You know, like sometimes when the waters roar. You know what I mean? You can't, like, there's no passing. It could be a brink where there's only like heavy winds, a lot of water. That time they passed through, there's like no water. It was still. Or you could say that the Most High even like departed the water, you know, like what he did in Egypt, right? So I want to bring out what's that script? Oh, about yeah, this is the name of Shalmaneser used for him in the Bible, which attribute, because there's a few of them. There was like the first, the second, the third, the fifth, you know. So it says which attributes to him the final conquest of the kingdom of Samaria of Israel and the deportation of the Israelites according to 2 Kings chapter 17 to 18 chapter. Shalmaneser accused Hosea, the king of Israel, conspiring against him by sending messages to Pharaoh and captured him. Indeed, the Egyptians attempted to gain a foothold in Israel, then held largely Assyria vassal kings by stirring them to a revolt against Assyria and lending them some military support. After these 3 years of siege, he took the city of Samaria and population. Like around them times, they plundered the Jerusalem. They took us away, you know. And I got a book, Babylon to Timbuktu, which this is what happened to some of the men. We fled. Like in this time also, this was in the year 65 BC. Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. 70 AD, General Vespasian, his son Titus, put an end of the Jewish state with great slaughter during the period of the military governors of Palestine. Many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people during the period of from Pompey to Julius. It has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. So you see what I'm saying? These were the times where our people were being rounded up as well, you know, for slavery. But yeah, I was getting back into the video that I came across.
Through the introduction of diseases that we had no immunity to, and other evil things that were arrogance, greed. Our numbers went from 112 million to less than a million by 1930. How do you kill off 111 million great people?
Great, Rob.
Loving people.
That's
People
his.
that are
That's
willing
his
to
MO.
share whatever they have, regardless of how small it is or how much they have. How do you do that?
That's a genocide.
See, so basically, I got a. Oh yeah, I got a script here. Also, this was Second Ezra chapter 13. Jump to like 35. It says, "But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and built, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and they shall lay before them their evil thoughts and torments, wherewith like shall begin to torment, which are like unto a flame, and he shall be destroy them." So where was it again? Yeah, I came across a scripture, or I was reading. Oh, wait, I came across something I was reading and got into. So Jake wants to know why it fell into captivity. Well, we broke in the laws. You know, we weren't following God's commandments. We were going off. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I think it. Uh, Let me bring up this. Second Ezra's. Is it 15? Hold on. Yeah, Second Ezra, chapter 24. 15 verse 24 says, "Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, says the Lord. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power, defile not my sanctuary. For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivered he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and he shall remain in them. And Yahweh shall not deliver you because ye have sinned against him. Behold, a horrible vision, and appearance thereof from the east." Uh, yeah, there there was more, but not on this one. It was a different one. But as I was saying, the point is, this is why the, the so-called black men and Gadites have fallen, because they haven't kept the laws. They were sinning. They're going off. So we're you see, like, what this Gada is saying, like, why, like, he's basically pleading, like, why us type of thing, like, why did this happen to him, like, to their people. So he's saying we're such a good people, good hearted people, nice. Why did Esau come over and with their wicked inventions?
Don't hear in history books.
Absolutely. And another form of genocide that they practiced on us was paper genocide. There was a Dr. Arthur Plecker in Virginia,
What's that? Oh,
a cold-blooded racist,
yeah, this movie.
through taking a baby, an Indian baby, and instead of putting Indian or tribal name on that birth certificate, he would put mulatto or other. So many people walking around, even today as we speak, 2017, don't know who they are because at
Yes.
birth,
See what this man is saying? Uh, the so-called wicked white man, he's putting, he's changing the laws of things, right? He's taking away the paper, and then he puts plastic. He's taking away the plastic, and then everybody's gonna be microchipped, right? Everyone's gonna be microchipped. So I don't know who that is. Everyone's gonna be microchipped. So basically, you know what I mean? What he's saying is right. Like, back then, they never had to walk with papers. They were free. They had the land. The whole land was theirs. So they conquered the land and conquered the people. You know, with devices, with wicked, evil devices, inventions.
their identity was destroyed through Dr. Arthur Blecker, the father of eugenics,
Who's that?
who became the director of vital statistics during his time in the state of Virginia.
Now, another thing that they teach in the history book was the whole Thanksgiving, the meeting. But we talked about that, and I wanted people to know the truth.
Oh, shit.
His time in the state of Virginia.
So, I have a book here that I was reading. It's called "A Little Matter of Genocide." This is the Holocaust of Daniel in the Americas from 1492 to the present by the Ward Churchill. Uh, I read from the first chapter. It says, during the century of spanning of the time between 1492, when Christopher Columbus first set foot on the new world of the Caribbean beach in 1892, when the U.S. Census Bureau concluded that there were fewer than a quarter million indigenous people surviving within the country's claimed boundaries of the hemisphere, population of estimated to have been as great as 125 million was reduced by something over 90%. The people had died in their millions of being hacked apart with axes and swords and burned alive and trampled on their horses, hunted as game and fed to the dogs, shot, beaten, stabbed, scalped for bounty, hanged on meat hooks, and thrown over the sides of the ships at sea, worked to death as slave laborers, intentionally starved and frozen to death during a multitude of forced marches and interments, and in unknown number of instances deliberately infected with epidemic diseases. Right, so this is what the white man's evil inventions were. He had he had a thought to destroy and kill the natives, the Gadites. The Israelites are brother according to the Bible. He had, and the spirit, right? Because their spirit bear witness with our spirit. So he had that wicked heart to kill and destroy Israel, like in the book of Psalms 83. You know, so these are some of the atrocities that our people have had gone through. You know, if you turn the next page, it has a little bit more. I jumped onto this right here. It says, it was not always that way through most of the history of what was happened. The perpetrators, from atrocities like Jeffrey Amherst to the lowest private in his army, from the highest elect official to the humblest of farmers, openly describe America's indigenous people as vermin-launched farmers. Openly describe America's Salakia. Literally hundreds of campaign to effect their extermination, and then revealed in carnage which resulted. Martial glory was attained by more than a few officers who proudly boast in later years having instructed their troops when attacking essentially defenseless native communities to kill and scalp all, little and big, because knights Mike Lice the booty parts taken by soldiers in such slaughter remains prized possession, discreetly handed down as trophies through the generations of all too many American families. Yeah, so the time what we're living in right now is they call it Thanksgiving. So this is what the white man's giving thanks for, to take down the Native American, of handing down their what they got onto their children. You know what I mean? Through our blood and sweat, they killed our people every day. They say our people are dying every day, which is true.
Now, another thing that they teach in the history book was the whole Thanksgiving, the meeting. But we talked about that, and I want people to know the truth about that. It was actually, if you want to talk about how Thanksgiving came about.
I do want to talk about it. First of all, you got to remember, my dear brother, that history, his story, It's not our story. When they proclaimed Thanksgiving, it was in Mystic, Connecticut, a tribe of Indian people, the Pequots, that were thriving and surviving. But shortly after, we taught these white people how to farm and how to take care of the land and raise food.
That's right.
They got beside themselves. A few years after they started prospering, they decided that they were going to take their women and their children out to a big field and have a cookout celebration. No Indians brought deer. There was never a Thanksgiving dinner with them, according to what they say. Not true. The celebration of Thanksgiving was the men walked off from their families and went further north into Mystic, Connecticut, and they murdered these Pequot Indian
Straight. So
children, elders, women, and men.
So that's basically the Thanksgiving of the white man's laws, of his ways, and we shouldn't take part in their Thanksgiving bullshit dinners, like these fucking 2/3 motherfuckers on the computer and in this world that I see on the computer, giving thanks and praises on the social media all over the friggin' internet, give thanks for Thanksgiving dinner with their family. They should choke on that fucking chicken bone or whatever the fuck they eat and fucking die, because they don't know their fucking history. They don't know nothing about the fucking Bible. They're not intending to know nothing about the Bible. They're just being wicked and following the white man's laws and ways. So these guys gotta pay big time in that day, and they will have their pay, because like I said, when you go into that scripture here, and it goes back to Gad, it says down at 49, it says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him. So the Calgary troops back in that time, when the white man was taking on the so-called Gadites, they overcame them at that time and destroyed them. Even in the book I just read, it said a troop. These, like the like right here, the martial glory was attained by more than a few officers who proudly boasted in later years of having instructed their troops. So they felt like they were the biggest troops, these Edomites, you know. But they don't know the Most High have it all set up for him. It says, but he shall overcome at the last. So God's gonna overcome all of this, the pain and struggle and the fight at the end, which he's doing. So, you know,
Got them in the enclosure of their habitat. They had built forts, per se, but that was only for the protection of their people. And they trapped them in where they couldn't get out, and they set it on fire, and they burned them to death. Then they came back. They were so thankful that they had killed these Indians, but that was the first Thanksgiving.
you see,
Not what you read about in their books.
It wasn't until President Lincoln decided, instead of having it every other day when they were going to different tribes, killing them, that he decided to make it once a year, a day of Thanksgiving once a year.
True. But let me tell you about President Lincoln. Because Indian...
and the thing about this, I want to say, black people don't go far from the genocide. What happened to the Gadites? Because you fucking niggas don't know these white guys had you guys the same way. They came over here, raped, robbed your woman over in Gad's land, and then basically have you house Negroes worked up in the house. Like they had you slaving, picking cotton. And after they destroyed the Gadite, because Gad came first, So they call it Thanksgiving. Then you have the Black Friday, which you black niggas were next. You know, you black niggas were hanged on trees. You like there's no giving back. What are they giving back? They're saying go buy and shop and get some free stuff, get some cheap stuff. You know, that's what they're making mockery. And even though we're not really black, we're brown. We're different shades of brown. But we black people, we're taking on this word as being black is black. Like, no, I'm just referring this word black, but we're not really black. We're brown. You get me? There's no such thing as black is like black. You know, like black as like fucking tar. You know, we're not tar. We're brown. We're chocolate. We're brown. You know, so when talking about Black Friday, it's just a byword. It's just mockery. It's just what do you call it? They're just mocking you guys, man. You know, they're just making you a byword. You know, they're just making you like a fucking mockingbird, yo, like a clown. They're clowning us. You know, so when they get all you guys out to shop, they're trying to boost up their spirit in what they have done. So you can't celebrate and partake into their wicked their Thanksgiving and what do you call it? Their pagan um their pagan ceremonies and their pagan customs, man.
Dakota. And Dakota.
Cause what do you have next? What do they have next? The Christmas. The Christmas, we can get into the Christmas. That's the cutting down the tree and worshiping the tree, basically. You know, worshiping idols. These are idol gods, man. They're worshiping, praying to the tree that can't profit them nothing. So when you look about Jeremiah, let's go into this scripture here. Oops. Oh, my bad. Go back. Bless. Am I spelling Jeremiah? Hold on. There we go. So Jeremiah chapter no, not prayer, chapter 1. Oops. Jeremiah chapter chapter 10. How to get there down here? We get into this because all they're gonna bring out next is this scripture right here. It says, Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 1. It says, "Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel, and saith, to the Lord, Yahushai, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathens are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. This is getting into Christmas coming up next. Pagan invasion, the pagan customs. It says, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. The work of the hands of the workman with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. What do you think that's going into? That's going into this time of the year, what they're bringing up. So basically, they rape, rob, and kill you, hanged you on trees, burned you, uh, uh, spoiled you, and then they get you to worship an idol, which the Most High says not to worship. So they kill you first, rape, rob, and murder you, and then what spirit comes up next is Christmas, a pagan idol worshiping, a cult. That's a pagan thing that you guys worship. You guys should stop your kids from partaking in that. You should edify your children. You should teach them. You should make them more wiser, make them more stronger, get them back to learning the true history of their heritage and where they come from, and that they're Yahushai, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai's chosen people, right? When you start teaching the kids, you should start teaching your kids, man, from young. It says, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe, they deck it with silver and gold, they fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it may not move. It may move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs to be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also it is in them to do good. You know what I mean? For so as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord Yahweh, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. So like, yeah. So these are the times that they're living in, where they're worshiping pagan customs. So after they rape, rob, and kill you, they getting in to for you to pray and worship to these idol customs.
Wouldn't give up. These are the people from Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and that area. Would not give up. They were fighting, and they captured in excess of 200 of them. And they wanted to hang them all. But Lincoln intervened because of politics, should I say politics. He said, no, I don't hang them all. Pick 38 of them. And there's something with the Mankato 38. That was the largest mass hanging ever in this country, in this republic.
That's right. I got a book I came across. It's called The Black Indians by William Loren Katz. If you jump to page 13 at the bottom, it says, to prevent Africans and Native Americans from uniting, Europeans played skillful on racial differences and ethnic rivalries. They kept the pot of animosity boiling. Whites turned Indians into slave hunters, and slave owners and Africans into Indian fighters. Light-skinned Africans were pit against dark-skinned, free against enslaved black Indians, against pure Indians or pure Indians. Those who have put history into books have emphasized. And this is the things that the white man has done since he came over. The difference between Africans and Native Americans, for example, they have stressed that Europeans encounter Indians as distinct individual members of the proud nation and Africans as nameless slaves. Little mention is made of the enslavement of Native Americans, and nothing is said about the cultural similarities between the two dark peoples. See? It goes on, man. It gets deeper and deeper, but I shall continue my video. Continue my video. A little bit later. So with that, I would like to say Shalom. We're the Hebrew Israelites, and I want to just give praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and I want to give double honors to the men of Great Millstone, Kwam Yashar Allah,